Hi besties, and welcome to the first video of 2025. But I'm going to be tier ranking every single book that I read in 2024. I saw Sara do this last year. Well, let's get technical here. 2 years ago in 2023, and she also just did it in 2024. So I just think it's a really fun idea rather than just like explain how I felt about every book or like what every book is about. Just like show you short and sweet how I would tier rank them. First, I'm just gonna go through like some stats for this year. So in 2024, I read 72 books, which is 34,412 pages because a lot of the books were really long. This book I read was Nick and Charlie, which is a novella. It's 120 pages. The longest book I read was Zodiac Academy, Sorrow and Starlight, which is the 8th book in the series, and it is 1,242 pages, which might be the longest book I've ever read in general. My average book length in 2024 was 477 pages, and my average rating was 4 stars, which is what I give a lot of books. I read 23 fantasies in 2024, which is, I think, probably my most fantasies read in a year ever, because I usually don't read that much fantasy, like not as much as this. So, and 6 of them were thrillers, and the rest were, for the most likely part, romances. But let's go through the tiers that I have. On the bottom, I have DNF, and it's either like DNF for now or DNF indefinite, like probably will never go back. Then I have I was falling asleep because I read through the entire book, but I was bored and I just wanted to get it over with. Like I was like, I don't want to pick this book up, you know, it was a chore. And then we have You Were Good, I Was Waiting for You to Be Great, the dance mom like sound. That was it. Like, you were good, I enjoyed it, I had a good time, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. Like nothing stood out to me. Then I had It Had Its Moment, never thought of again. I actually got inspired by Sara where she said like, would recommend, but I haven't thought of it. And that was like where I was like, yeah, like I have a lot of books that I've rated like maybe 4 stars and I really enjoyed it, but was it really a 4-star book? Because I never think of it. I probably don't even remember the main characters' names. Like, you know, I read it and then it was over. Then I have the second highest, which is These Characters Are Real to Me. Like, I love the series or this book and like they're so good and I wish the characters were real, but it's not like 5 star, 6 star, like God tier amazing. So the top tier is would give my firstborn to experience this again. Like I would do anything to read this over again. I loved it with everything in me. It was 5 stars or more, like it was amazing. But I guess that is all that I had to say. Let's begin. I'm going to start the screen recorder. They're not in like the right order of when I read them, so I'm just gonna be taking them as they are. So the first book I can see we have here is Dark Fae, and actually all the first 5 books here at the bottom I can see are all from the Ruthless Voice series of Zodiac, which is like a prequel to Zodiac Academy, but you also don't you don't have to read it. It's not necessarily a prequel, but like it does take place before Zodiac Academy starts, if that makes sense. That's why it's a prequel, but it's kind of its own series as well. But the characters are mentioned in Zodiac Academy. So I don't even really know. Like honestly, I don't know, because these characters are real to me because I love Zodiac Academy, but I don't love them in the way that I love Zodiac Academy. I'm just gonna put them all in These Characters Are Real to Me because they are, and I was really sad when I finished it. I do really liked it. Like I did really enjoy it. It's not something I typically read, honestly, but I had a really good time reading it. Like I really did. Okay, Behind the Net. See, I think this is like You Were Good, I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. Like I had high expectations. The first half I think was good, and then it kind of went downhill. Like I did enjoy it, but it wasn't all that. Bride, I'm gonna put up These Characters Are Real to Me. Like I don't think like the characters are necessarily what is real to me. I just really enjoyed that book, and it's more than It Had Its Moment. Like I think of that book and I would read it again. So then we have The Fake Out, which is the same series as Behind the Net. It's just the second book, and it's the same. It was good. I was waiting for it to be great. Like it was better than the first book. Reckless is These Characters Are Real to Me. Like I think I did give the book 5 stars, but like Reckless in itself, like the series, the characters are real to me. But that book specifically, like Powerless was better. Reckless is kind of like a filler book, and I think most people would agree with that. Like not a lot happened, but I still had a great time, and I still rated it 5 stars. Funny story, I would probably say It Had Its Moment, but I never think of it. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love Emily Henry, and I do read all of her books and I do like them. I just don't, I'm not obsessed with them. So it's like, it was good at the moment, at the time. I think I actually had a reading block where I read it, but like nothing stood out to me, you know? Wild Love, that's hard. I love this book. I'm gonna put it, I rated it 5 stars. I'm gonna put it in Would Give My Firstborn to Experience Again. Like I loved it. Elsie Silver knows how to write those small town romances. She really does. Then we have Just for the Summer, and I'm gonna put it, it had its moment, but I never think of it. And like, it was really, really good. Like, let me just clarify here. A lot of the it had its moment are still like 4 stars or even above. Like, I really, really enjoyed the book. There's just not that many books in general that I like think of all the time. It's usually a series for me when I feel that way, because I'm more connected rather than just a standalone. Because then it's like, I don't really think of it. Like, I read it and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought this book was so good, and I definitely gave it over 4 stars. Then we have The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I'm gonna put it at I was falling asleep, and I low-key wish I would have DNF'd it, but at the same time, because it's a thriller, there's something you know in the beginning and you want to know what it is. You will see other Frida McFadden books in here that I loved, and that's why I read this one, because I really do like her writing and her books. But this book was so awful to me. It was so, not necessarily even that it was boring. I mean, it kind of was. I just thought it was so weird. Like, I did not like the plot twist. I didn't like where the story was going. The characters, none of it. Like, nothing in this book was good to me. Like, even from the beginning, I was like, did I read the entire thing in one night? Yes I did, but I didn't enjoy it. Butcher and Blackbird, I'm gonna put in it had its moment, but I never think of it, because I really did enjoy it. I really did, and I do want to read the second one. I just haven't yet, but I have it on my Kindle. I enjoyed the book. I thought it was fun. It's like a dark romance, serial killers, and I thought that that was really fun, and I did like the concept of it, but I never think of it, and I don't remember either of their names. This Summer Will Be Different is also gonna be in it. It had its moment, and I never think of it again. Like, just again, just a reminder, it is still 4-star reads. Like, The Summer Will Be Different, I think I gave 4, maybe more. Like, I don't even know, but I just don't think of it, and I don't remember the names. Okay, Taming 7 by Chloe Walsh. I don't even really know, because I feel like I can't put it in it had its moment, never think of it, because I do think of it. But that's because I think of the Boys of Tommen series in general, and not necessarily Taming 7. I think I might honestly put it in You Were Good, I Was Waiting for You to Be Great, because the book was good. I, like most other people who had read Boys of Tommen, were expecting more. It wasn't all that. It didn't feel like the same as the others, and I know it's because this one was like traditionally published compared to the other ones. This one just lacked some of that emotion. The characters, these characters are real to me, but this book specifically was not that good. Now we have Zodiac Academy. I can see that they are all spread out. I actually think this is the 9th book, so I'm gonna put this one in Would Give My Firstborn to Experience Again, because I absolutely would. Like, I think that book is actually the only one in the entire series that I gave 5 stars. But like, don't get it twisted. The entire Zodiac Academy series, overall, in general, is a 6-star series to me. It is my second most favorite series, book, whatever, ever. Out of the 300 books that I've read, that series is right after The Addicted Calloway Sisters. But every individual book is not a 5-star. They're all 4. There's nothing below 4, I don't think, but they're all 4 to 4.5, except for that one that is 5. But the characters, that is what makes it real to me. So, but I would still experience it again for the first time. Like, we have Alive and Wells. I'm gonna put it in it had its moment, never think of it again, because I don't remember their names, I don't think. And it's not like these characters are real to me, but I did really, really like it. I think I still gave it over 4 stars. And it's a small town country romance, kind of Elsie Silver vibes. It's also a small town on a cattle range in Canada. Also a really good series, and if you love Chestnut Springs, I would definitely recommend giving this series a try. I've never heard of it. I just looked up, like, basically, I think it was under Chestnut Springs. I just looked on Goodreads, like the ones there's like recommended to you, and this one came on, and I read it, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm waiting for the 3rd book to come out. The 2nd book is in here somewhere. Oh, I see it. Should I just take that one? Or, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna quickly take that one. Seeing Red, I'm just gonna put it with It Had Its Moment. I really liked it. I like Seeing Red more than Alive and Wells, and I really enjoyed that series. So, it's definitely a recommendation for you guys. The Dixon Rule. I feel like it's so hard. Maybe I shouldn't have named it It Had Its Moment, Never Thought of It Again. Maybe I feel like I need another like tier. I'm gonna put it in These Characters Are Real to Me because I did really enjoy that series enough to buy the physical copy, and I would want to reread it. I think, like, honestly, I really enjoyed it. I even cried. I sobbed my eyes out to this book, actually. And that's how you know it's a good book. Not Another Love Song. I think I'm gonna put in You Were Good, I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I enjoyed it at the time. I think I read it kind of quickly, but I didn't love it. I don't really remember much about it. It was definitely a different kind of book from anything I've ever read before. I had a good time reading it, but it's not my typical romance book. Didn't like love it. So that's where it's gonna go. Then we have The Christmas Clause, which is just a short little Christmas novella that I read here in December. And I'm just gonna put it in, It Had Its Moment, actually, because I really enjoyed that book. It was really short, like 200 pages, had a great time. Enough said about that. Powerful. I mean, I'm gonna have to put it in These Characters Are Real to Me. It's in the Powerless universe, like by Lauren Roberts. And this one is just a novella between Powerless and Reckless. Moving on, Nobody Like Us. See, this, I'm gonna put in These Characters Were Real to Me, where These Characters Are Real to Me. It is a spin-off of the Addicted Cowboy Sister series, and this one was the last one in that spin-off, which is called the Like Us series. You already know, if like the Addicted Cowboy, if they were there, like they would absolutely be in the first one. But like this, I love the characters, I really did. But the book itself, the storyline, where it went, I wasn't like obsessed with. So that's why it's gonna go there instead of like the top tier. Phantasma, I don't really know, because it wasn't like a low rating to I was falling asleep. It's not bad in the way the teacher was bad. I think I'm just gonna put it in You Were Good, I Was Waiting for You to Be Great, but I don't really know if it was good. I mean, it was, and I do understand why people like it. It's just, it wasn't for me, it wasn't my taste, not what I wanted. I think that, so it kind of does fit. Like, I was waiting for you to be great because I'd heard great things. It never came for me. The next one, Magnolia Parks, would get my firstborn. Like, that was like, before I read Zodiac Academy in like September, that was the top book of 2024. I gave it 6 stars out of 5. I loved it so much. I sobbed my eyes out so much. Like, it was a book that I had pre-ordered, and it took like over a week to come. I downloaded it, I found it online, had to pace myself because I really wanted to annotate the physical copy. So I wanted to read it on there. I wanted to read the experience in the physical book. So I was taking it so slowly, just reading a little bit at a time, giving myself the pleasure of reading it. It's the best book in the series so far. It is so good. I need to read that again one day. Then we have Solitaire. I put it in You Were Good, I Was Waiting for You to Be Great, because I really love Heartstopper, the show at least. I mean, I've read the books, but like 3 years ago. I'm hoping to get them on my birthday on Sunday. If you're watching this on January 5th, I'll be 22. So I do want to reread the books, and I only read the first 3. I want to read the rest of them, but Solitaire is Charlie's sister's book, and it's actually the original, like before Heartstopper. Solitaire was like the book. And I just didn't love it. I thought it was kind of boring. It wasn't my taste. It's just, I don't know. I didn't love it, but I wasn't falling asleep. Like, I still read it in one evening. So The Christmas Tree Farm, I don't know, because like again, because of the fact that it's a standalone kind of, technically speaking, but I didn't read the other 2 before that one. So the characters aren't real to me, but I don't want to say that I never think of it again. It had its moment. I'm honestly gonna put it in These Characters Were Real to Me. Like, I really enjoyed this book. I almost cried at the end. I really enjoyed that book more than I thought I would. For that one, it was actually not the characters, it was like the vibes. The Christmas vibes were just, Wild Eyes is gonna go where Wild Love is. Up at the top would get my firstborn. Loved that book. It was so good. I read like 300 and 400 pages in one day because I was just having such a good time. I could not put it down. And I also cried for this one because it was just so good, and I was so immersed in the story that just, it brought tears. Okay, now we have a reread, and I don't know if I should have put that in here, but I did. So Alphas Like Us is from the same as Nobody Like Us. I'm gonna put this one at the top tier because it was a reread, and I have been considering to reread it for a 3rd time, and I loved it. Alphas Like Us is, I think, the 3rd book in the Like Us series. So good. It's so good. Like, those characters genuinely are real to me. Quicksilver. It had its moment. Never think of it again. It took me a while to read it because I got kind of in a reading slump, But I did really enjoy it, and I do plan to read the second book when that comes out, but I didn't like love it or obsess over it. I finished it and moved on to something else, you know, like kind of in one ear out the other kind of vibe. Long Way Down was also a reread that I did at the beginning of this year. I'm gonna put it at Firstborn. It's just Long Way Down, like, because that couple, Reich and Daisy, they aren't my favorites. They're my least favorite in the series. So that's why I was like, should I put it in These Characters Are Real to Me instead? But like, I can't do that. I can't do that to that series, the core 6. Like, they have to be at the top. They genuinely do. I read that series, oh my god, this year is gonna be 4 years. I read that series in 2021 and it's now 2025. And I still obsess over it, guys. I have read some of those books 3 times. See, I just said I couldn't put it anywhere at the top. But I'm gonna put it at These Characters Are Real to Me. Because it's technically not an Addicted Calloway Sister series book. It is, but most of the chapters, well actually all of the chapters don't take place until after the Addicted Calloway Sisters series ended. And all except one takes place during the Like Us series timeline, and it's mostly about those characters and their events. So I'm just gonna put it here because I did really enjoy it. It's not its own book. It's a lot of chapters, Christmas chapters, that have been put into one book. Then we have Him, a hockey romance between 2 guys. I will say it had its moment, but I never think of it. I really enjoyed it. I read it so quick. At some point you'll also see that the second one is in here. I loved it. I really did. It had too much smut for me. Like, it was very sexual. Nick and Charlie is just a short little novella. I'm gonna put it at These Characters Are Real to Me just because I love Nick and Charlie, and they feel even more real because of the TV series. Then we have Behind Closed Doors. Well, no, I do remember it, but this one I listened to as an audiobook because I had a little audiobook moment there. I don't really love it. I don't really feel like necessarily there was a plot twist because like you knew what was happening behind closed doors. It was because it was more like everyone else didn't know, but like but I wasn't falling asleep. Like, it kept me on my toes, but probably mostly because it was an audiobook and I listened to it in high speed. So I would say you were good, but I was waiting for you to be great. Like, Then She Was Gone was also an audiobook that I listened to either right before Behind Closed Doors or right after. It's kind of the same. You were good. I was waiting for you to be great. Didn't love it. Didn't like the plot twist. Didn't really feel like the plot twist necessarily made sense even. I don't know. I thought it was weird. It was a weird book. Then we have The Woman in the Window, also another audiobook thriller that I was listening to. This one I DNF'd. I think I listened to maybe over 20% and nothing was happening. Like, nothing was happening. Like, I still didn't understand what, like, normally I feel like in a thriller pretty early on you know what it is that they're waiting to figure out is going to happen. Like, you know what the plot is, but I didn't really know what the plot was. Like, Zodiac Academy, The Awakening. See, this one I'm just gonna put in These Characters Are Real to Me because I loved it. I think if I wanted to reread, I mean, I probably would, but maybe I would skip a little bit. It's just when you read the rest of it, especially because it's a bully romance if you don't know. So like the characters, the guys are so mean in the first few books. And when you see them be different later on, it's just hard to go back. Then we have 7 Sleepless Nights, which is just a little novella. Didn't even remember that I read that this year. I'm just gonna put it in, it had its moment. It's just a little, it's like a few short stories about every character from the Boys of Thomas series. Nothing much else to say about that. Then we have Boy Parts. I'm gonna put that in I Was Falling Asleep. I would have DNF'd it. I only read this book because it was part of like a book club that I did with 2 of my friends. My other friend really liked it, so I was like, okay, I'll read it. And it's only like a little under 300 pages, I believe. But guys, it was so weird. It wasn't necessarily boring. Like, it was a page turner in a way, but I definitely would have possibly either never picked it up or I would have DNF'd it if it wasn't because of her, like my friend. Not my type of book. Not my type of book. Then we have 5 Total Strangers, and that was a audiobook that I also listened to. I didn't love 5 Total Strangers. I think I'm gonna put it in I Was Falling Asleep because I liked it less than the other 2. It was just so boring. Yeah, like, I can't really say much. It's just I thought it was quite boring. Zodiac Academy, The Reckoning, which is the 3rd book. I'm also gonna put that one in These Characters Are Real to Me. The Happy Ever After playlist, I'm gonna put it, it had its moment, never thought of it again. I love Abby Jimenez, one of my favorite authors. I have read her entire discography. I will be reading next book whenever that comes out. But like, it's not like, again, as you can probably tell, it's mostly only series that are going higher up. Because a standalone is just, you read it and then you move on. I don't really have a lot of standalones that I like, that I would like die for, because you just don't get as involved in them. But I still had a really good time. Zodiac Academy, Cursed Fates. So that one we're gonna put up at would give my firstborn to experience again, because absolutely. Zodiac Academy, Restless Fae. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. You already know the drill. It's gonna go up high. Beach Read. Beach Read was actually a reread. I read it, I think, in 2021, and I read it in Danish. It was like one of the first few books that I read ever, and I didn't like love it at the time. I think I gave it 3 stars. First off, reading a Danish book now would never do. Like, I can't. I like her writing style, and that's gonna get lost when you translate it. Beach Read, I reread and I really liked it this time. I'm still gonna put it in. It had its moment though. Like, I really enjoyed it. I really did. Okay, Zodiac Academy. Yeah, we're gonna put that at the top. The Favor. I honestly forgot about that book. I'm gonna say You Were Good. I was waiting for you to be great, because I wasn't necessarily falling asleep. It was okay. I'd never actually heard of it before. I found it on Goodreads, I think, years ago, downloaded it, and finally read it this year. There's probably a reason I haven't heard of it, because it's not very good. Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. See, I did say I love Abby Jimenez, but this one was actually my least favorite. It's in the same series, or in the same universe as the Happy Ever After playlist. But I'm gonna say You Were Good. I was waiting for you to be great, because I didn't love it as much as all her other books. The 3 first Addicted books, I reread those earlier in the year. You already know where they're going. I don't even have to talk about it. I don't have to explain it. If you haven't read the series, do it as your 2025 goal. Read that series. Zodiac Academy, putting it up there as well. Oh, The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I read that this summer, I believe. I'm gonna say You Were Good. I was waiting for you to be great. It was another one, like, it wasn't as bad as The Teacher. It was good, but I just didn't love it. I didn't love it. Mr. Wrong Number I actually really enjoyed, but I'm gonna put it at It Had Its Moment. You know what? I'm gonna put that as These Characters Were Real to Me. Like, that book actually really slayed. Like, I really enjoyed that book. Like, I had a really good time reading that this summer. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I'm gonna put that It Had Its Moment, because I did enjoy it. I really did. I don't remember their names. You With a View, I DNF'd. Not necessarily because it was bad, I just got in a reading slump, and then I think that's when I started Zodiac Academy, and then I just never looked back. And now I have no desire to go back, because I barely even remember what happened. I'm halfway through it. Maybe I will go back one day. I don't know. Then we have Us, which is the 2nd book of him. They made a sequel. I'm gonna put it where him is. I like the first one better, but Zodiac Academy. The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, I'm gonna put in You Were Good. I was waiting for you to be great, because it was 3rd person point of views. It's actually the 2nd book of Mr. Wrong Number, but I read Love Wager first, and then I read Mr. Wrong Number after. What confuses me is, or what I think is weird, is Mr. Wrong Number is written in 1st person point of view. Love Wager is written in 3rd person. Why? But I didn't love Love Wager. I didn't think it was very good, or I mean, it was okay. I just didn't feel connected to them. Bad Reputation was a reread. Technically, it was both technically a reread and also technically the first time I read it, because when I read Bad Reputation, there's 2 versions of it. You can read it as 2 different books, where it's like an interconnected timeline, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? You see when they meet, and then you go in the present, and then you go back in the past when they met, and then the present. Changing timelines. The Bad Reputation is one collected book, but written in chronological order. So like a normal romance, kind of, where you see how they met, and you go all the way up there. Like, I don't even think I said, but it is a spin-off of the Addicted Calloway Sister series, but not really. I mean, it is a spin-off, but it's another couple that you meet later on in those books, and then it's their love story. So there are a lot of the scenes, some of them are the same from the Addicted Calloway, but written from their point of view. Divine Rivals. You Were Good, but I was waiting for you to be great. It's a fantasy book that I know a lot of people love, and a lot of people, it's like their favorite book. I thought it was really boring. I didn't put it in I was falling asleep though, because it wasn't that boring. I'm not like a big fantasy reader. I'm mostly a romantasy reader, and this one, while it does have romance, it's not in the way that I wanted. And they got together too quickly, and there was no yearning, there was no, like, it was unrealistic. I know it's a fantasy, but like the romance part of it was also unrealistic. The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I know this is gonna sound crazy. These characters are real to me. Do I remember their names? No. I'm gonna put it above that, because it's not just never thought of it again. It is something I think of. It is a book that I recommend to people a lot, and it's a book that I would read again. Even though it's a thriller and I already know the plot twist, if I wait maybe a year, I would read it again. I read the entire book on one day. Well, I worked 10 hours that day. and I still managed to read that entire thing before midnight because I couldn't put it down, guys. I couldn't put it down. It was so good. It had me on the tip of my toes. Actually, should I put it? Wait, I didn't even consider that. I should put it in would give my firstborn to experience this again, because I would, because it's a thriller. So I would like to experience it again for the first time. Hold up. Yeah, okay, I changed the tier. I forgot. Okay, Love Light Farms. You were good. I was waiting for you to be great. I think I still gave it 4 stars, but just, you know, it was a cringy little Christmas romance. It was good for what it was, but it wasn't anything out of this world. 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. I was falling asleep. I'm gonna put it there because I'm not even gonna say you were good. I thought this book was so bad and so boring. Did I read the entire thing? Yes, I did. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, I did. I think it's the same kind of with 5 Total Strangers. I don't like that whole concept where it's all in one day and they're like, where there's a specific amount of people trapped in a car, or in 5 Survive, I think it's a camper stuck in there, something happens. Like I don't like that. I don't really fuck with that. I thought it was boring in both of those books. Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas and Empire of Storms. I'm gonna put them together because I read them, I read the tandem read. I read them both at the same time. So to me, it's kind of one book, you know? I'm gonna put them together. I'm gonna hurt so many people's feelings, and I'm so sorry. Kayla, you're probably watching, possibly, and I'm so sorry. But you already know this. You know my feelings about this series. I don't love Throne of Glass. I put it there, I put it out there. They're gonna be in the same place. I'm gonna put it in You Were Good. I was waiting for you to grade. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just didn't care. I just didn't care. I'm sorry. The 7-Year Slip. I really enjoyed that series. Series, the book, sorry. I really enjoyed that book. I loved it, but honestly, I'm gonna put it in. It had its moment, never thought of it again, because I really loved it at the time. Like, I think I gave it 5 stars and I was like, this is changing my life. Then a few weeks passed and I never thought of it again. So, you know, I mean, I think it had beautiful writing. I loved the writing style of this book, but I don't think of it. But I would really recommend it. I would really recommend it. Okay, then we have the Natural series. I've only read the first 3 and not the last one because I don't want it to end. I'm just gonna curve them all in together, even though actually they get better for every time. Like, I think the Naturals, the first book, I think I gave that 4, and then the next one 4.25, and the third one 4.5. And I'm gonna put it in These Characters Real to Me, honestly, because I really like it. I think it's a really good series. Like, if you like Criminal Minds, you should read it. And like, this series deserves more hype than the Inheritance Games. It's the same author. Kingdom of Ash. See, this is where I'm really gonna hurt people's feelings. We're not even gonna talk about it. Moving on. I'm so sorry. My December Darling is actually a DNF. Well, not because it was bad. I just, again, got kind of in a slump. I stopped reading, and then I started reading Iron Flame instead. So I got halfway through, but I mean, if I really loved it, I probably would have continued. So this is like a soft DNF. This is a DNF for now. Once Upon a Broken Heart is also a soft DNF. I want to read Caraval first. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart. I think I started it in January, and I got 100 pages in. Never picked it up again. But I think I've decided I'm gonna read Caraval first, and then I'm gonna go back to that one day. But this is it, guys. That was all. I think 74 books I have in this because some of them were DNFs. But these are my rankings, guys. I stand by this. But this was fun. I want to do that again next year. Well, I guess technically this year, 2025. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings. Just remember that these are all my personal opinions. Reading is so freaking subjective. But that was all for this video, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy New Year's and happy 2025. Bye.